Hello everybody, thanks for joining me. Today I'm tying an Irish style mayfly pattern called the Rollover mayfly. In the vise I've got a RX long dry fly hook size 10. For the wings we're going to be using some teal flank feathers, and I've prepared these so we've just got the tips and we've got two nice even wings. The tail and butt of the fly are going to be made out of pheasant tail fibres. For the rib I'm going to be using some stripped peacock herl. The dubbing to make the body is superfine dry fly dubbing in tan. And the hackle I'm going to be using for this fly is grizzly. This is my grizzly variant cape. It's got a little bit of golden badger running through it. So let's get started. I'm going to tie in just behind the hook eye, make a few wraps to secure the thread, and then snip off the excess. I'm going to carry the thread back forward to a couple of millimetres behind the hook eye, and we're going to tie in our wing feathers. I'm tying these in so the stems lie parallel on top of the hook shank, and they're going to spread out into a really nice fan wing. Let's trim away the butt ends. And we're going to carry the thread back to the base of the tail and tie in our pheasant. Use about 5 pheasant tail fibres here. I know there's only 3 on the natural, but last time I checked, trout can't count, and it gives a little bit of extra if one of them gets bitten off or falls out. So I'm doubling back the butt ends of the pheasant tail fibres here because we're going to use those to make the tag on the fly. Just going to make a couple of wraps here. It gives a little brown blob at the end of the body, which looks very much like the naturals. The species I'm trying to represent here is the ephemera danica, which is a really big mayfly. Of course, you can play with the size and with the materials that you use to represent different species. I'm going to tie in my hackle here. The idea with this fly is that that big fan wing catches the wind and skates and skitters the fly across the surface of the water before eventually it gets saturated and it flops over onto its side in the water. And this gives a very natural representation of how a mayfly that's struggling to take off from the water surface will behave, and it can get some really good reactions from the fish. So I've tied in my hackle. Now I'm tying in my rib. This is a bit of stripped peacock quill. It's not really going to add much by way of structural support, but it gives a very nice segmented brown effect down the body. I'm going to start dubbing the fly now. So we're using that superfine dry fly dubbing. I'm just building up a tight dubbing sausage on the thread. And I like to do this in several stages. It's easier to manage smaller pinches and repeat than it is to do the entire thing in one massive long one. So I'm coming in with a second pinch here, and I'm just trying to build a little bit of a taper into the body, building up towards the thorax. I'm still a little short, so I'm going to add some more, and I want it to come right up to the end of the hackle, just a tiny pinch extra to fill in that gap there. There we go, I'm happy with that, so I'm going to park my thread between the wing and the hackle. And now I'm coming up with my ribbing material, that peacock quill. I'm going to try and build some nice even segments into the body. And you can see that the quill is slowly getting larger as we've tied it in from the tip and we're working towards the butt. Secure it down and snip off the excess. Now we're ready to do the hackle. So I'm going to make a few turns behind the wing. Nice even touching turns to build up a dense hackle. I'm going to pull the wing back. And you can see that that's really got a nice curve to it. It's really going to work like a sail to catch the wind. So I'm happy with my hackle. I'm going to tie off a couple of turns over, and I'm just going to take a bit of time to build a little head. I'm going to come in with my whip finisher and secure everything down. And then we can trim away the thread and trim away the excess hackle. Do give this one a go. It's a very natural looking fly, and you can have some real success with it during the mayfly season. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.